Hi, Aravind here. So I'm working on a few updates to my website where I've added Tailwind to it. I've been using Tailwind and then falling in love with it, so I've added it finally to my website. So this is how it used to look previously. I had monospaced font everywhere, but now I changed it to another font called Sora and slight updates to the design here and there. It's the same mostly, but the major upgrade is the font. And yeah, so the let me walk you through the changes. uh, so the first thing that I've done is went into this Gatsby config and then added post css. Okay, so Gatsby plugin post css, what this does is it has a config file which says it needs Tailwind and then auto prefixer. I also have a Tailwind config which has a few colors defined and a font family defined. So this is uh, the font family that you see here. Sora is the font. And what else do we have? Yeah, we have a few colors. I used extend here because I don't want to lose the old colors. So we import colors from the existing Tailwind colors and then spread them. We just change the default color. These are predefined colors that I had previously. So all those are gone and only Tailwind styles are present now. It used style components previously and all that is gone now. And here these are the base styles that I define in my project. So if you see, there are a lot of CSS variables that I use, and these are specific to my project, and in I use them like this to change in dark and the light themes. So if you come see at the Tailwind config, I have a few colors defined which are based out of this CSS config. So here in the website, I have a class on the body defined based on the theme that is active, and the value for the CSS variable comes from this class based on the theme. So in for the body, we use bg background, and it knows that the background is this color because we have defined a color called background here. So that's how the Tailwind works, or that's how the styling, the theming works in my project. We actually have the dark theme support from Tailwind itself, where we can define things like dark and the style that we want to apply in that theme. But I had this working in the project previously, and I thought, why don't I keep it? And this Tailwind file, the Tailwind CSS file, is imported in the layout, which basically loads all the styles to the project whenever any page is loaded. That's basically the core change in this PR. And yeah, so I was thinking to add images here. So in every article I have a few cover images. I want to get those images here in the writings page and the home page as well, because this has a lot of text right now, and adding images would spice things up a bit. So yeah, let's see what happens in the template page, which is this page, this article which has the image. So when I see the GraphQL query, I have this banner, right? So I can copy this, and I want this in the writings page. So I go to my pages, writings, and paste it here. So when I now look at the data that comes with this query, I should be able to have the images in it as well. Yeah, I do have the image. So what I can do here is get that image. I take this image from Gatsby image and I copy this complete thing, because if we don't have an image then I won't show it. So I want it before the heading, which means I keep that here, and here it's not post but node. Yep, we now have the images. Looks cool. So the heights are not proper. So that is, I mean, we can change that by adding a class. Yeah. So when I fix the height of the item or the image, then it basically adjusts itself to it. Looks good, right? So I want the image to be clickable as well, and the heading clickable but not the text. So I can do this instead. I don't need a class name for the images. So now I can click on the images, or I can click on the headings. Cool. So this looks good. So even if I don't have an image, I have text like this and I think it's okay. So this is basically a grid, two column grid, and if I reduce the width of this, it should be a single column grid. Cool. Okay, and I can even increase the gap here, which means yeah, so here the gap y should be increased, so gap y is 6. Cool, looks good.